Do you like school? I'm not sure what the answer to that might be. School for me as a kid was, sometimes not. But this school we're in this week, we're hoping it's a great time. Because again, the Lord Almighty is the teacher. And He places us in the classroom. Why? Because He loves us so much. He wants to see us grow, specifically now in our faith. We are learning, again, from the life of Elijah. Just a small little segment of this amazing prophet's life found in 1 Kings verse 17. Let me just point this out too. Elijah lived just under about 3,000 years ago. But isn't it amazing how relevant God's Word is to us today? I mean, here we are again, almost 3,000 years later, and the impact and how relevant and powerful God's Word is from this life as He entered into the school of faith and we enter with Him into this classroom. The lessons this week, I believe, have been powerful and important. Here's the lesson we learned today, again from God's Word. It's this: I must trust God completely. Now, at first glance, it's like, well, duh, that's kind of basic. Yet, can we take it for granted? No, we cannot. It is such an important lesson that we must apply to our lives on a daily basis. So here's the principle, really, again, from this lesson that we learned today from God's Word. I love it so much. It's this: wherever God guides me, He promises to provide for me. I'll say it again. Wherever God guides me, He promises to provide for me. Now, let me clarify that. He promises to provide on His terms, not our own. Often we're like, hey, God, provide for me in this way, in this way, in this way. Well, God is smarter than we are, but God does promise to provide. Where are we getting that? We're getting that from God's Word. 1 Kings 17, verse 4. Listen. God says this to Elijah. He says, "You shall drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." Then he says, so he went and did according to the word of the Lord. He went, Elijah, and lived by the brook Kerith, that is east of the Jordan. And then in verse 6, this is so great, okay? Look what God does. Verse 6, and the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. See what's happening right there? God says, Elijah, I want you to go to this place. I want you to go there. Elijah responds with obedience, and God provides clear, fresh, amazing water for Elijah. And then He also provides for Elijah daily sandwiches. See, where are you getting that? Well, it just said bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and He did it through birds. All right. So any ounce of faith, when you're reading God's Word right now, says, my God can do anything. I mean, He can feed Elijah with birds and give him daily sandwiches and fresh cold water. Certainly, He can provide for me as well. Isn't that interesting? We trust God that where He takes us, He will provide for us in His way, on His terms, and as only God can. Faith says, wow, I am being filled with faith. I'm excited for this because this is what the Lord wants us and wants to do within us. See what's happening here? Faith in the Lord's terms is not just a part-time calling, it's a full-time calling. The provision of God for us as He encourages us, and even as I read this right now, I'm just amazed by this. If He does it for Elijah, well, then He can do it for me. Where are you at right now? Are you in a time where God has led you to a certain place? One of the key words in the text says, Elijah, when you go there, you will be fed. Question, where's your there? Where's your there? Wherever your there is, God says, I will meet you there. Maybe you're there right now. It's not something you're super excited about, but God is. Go there and find God, again, meeting you there with His provision and love and grace. You need to call us today, 1-866-273-4444. We'd love to pray with you about your there and God's will for you. You are so loved.